That moment right there is the beginning of something most people will never understand. Because when an empath gets fed up, she doesn't explode. She evolves. And later in this video, I'm going to explain why the day you stop explaining yourself is the day the power flips. I'm also going to show you why your silence will start affecting them more than your love ever did. But first, you need to understand what fed up really means. Being fed up is not about revenge. It's not about becoming cruel. It's not about playing games. It's about emotional exhaustion. It's the moment your nervous system can't tolerate the imbalance anymore. You gave chances. You communicated, you forgave, you adjusted. You tried to understand, you told yourself they were wounded. You told yourself they just needed patience. You carried the emotional weight of the relationship because that's what you've always done. You absorb, you fix, you soften, you excuse. But there comes a moment when your empathy stops bleeding and starts protecting. That's when people call you dangerous, not because you became toxic, but because you stopped tolerating toxicity. Silence feels hard at first. When you decide not to text, not to call, not to check in, it feels like you are abandoning the connection. It feels like you are risking everything. Your mind starts racing. What if they think I don't care? What if they move on? What if this was the last chance? Silence feels like loss when you are used to chasing. But silence is not loss. Silence is clarity. When you go quiet, you stop interrupting the truth. Before, you filled every gap. If they pulled away, you leaned in. If they went cold, you warmed things up. If they hesitated, you reassured. You became the stabilizer of a connection that was never stable to begin with. And that lowers your position. Chasing always lowers your position. Not because you are weak, but because you are volunteering for imbalance. You are placing yourself in pursuit while they sit in evaluation. You become the one proving, they become the one deciding. That dynamic slowly erodes your self-respect. You tell yourself you are just being loving. But love does not require you to abandon yourself. When an empath is fed up, something inside her recognizes that she has been over-functioning. She sees that she has been carrying conversations, initiating plans, repairing conflicts, and holding space for someone who barely holds space for her. And the realization is painful. Because you don't want to believe you were investing more than you were receiving. You don't want to admit that your effort was compensating for their lack of it. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. A fed-up empath does not argue. She withdraws. Let that sink in. A fed-up empath does not argue. She withdraws. That withdrawal is what scares people. When you were arguing, you were still invested. When you were explaining, you were still hoping. When you were emotional, you were still attached. But when you go quiet, it's different. Your energy changes. You stop reacting to breadcrumbs. You stop responding to half-effort. You stop trying to decode mixed signals. You observe instead of pursue. And observation is powerful. Because when you stop chasing, the illusion starts to crack. Silence forces reality to surface. If they care, they will step forward. If they don't, they will step back. And for the first time, you are not manipulating the outcome with your effort. You are allowing truth to reveal itself. No contact feels hard because your body is used to anxiety-driven connection. You are used to the highs and lows, the hot and cold, the tension and relief. That pattern becomes addictive. When you remove yourself from it, your nervous system goes into withdrawal. You may feel restless. You may feel the urge to text just to break the tension. You may miss them intensely, even if you know they were inconsistent. That doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. It means your body is adjusting to peace. Peace feels unfamiliar when chaos was your normal. When you're not fed up yet, you think love means endurance. You think strength means staying. You think empathy means understanding forever. But when you are truly fed up, you understand something deeper. Empathy without boundaries becomes self-neglect, and self-neglect eventually turns into resentment. That's when the shift happens. You stop trying to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking your standards to maintain access. You stop proving your loyalty to someone who keeps testing it. You become still. And that stillness is unsettling to someone who relied on your emotional availability. When you were chasing, they felt powerful. When you go quiet, they feel uncertain. Uncertainty disrupts control. Many people confuse the word dangerous with aggression, but the most powerful shift is detachment. A fed-up empath is dangerous because she stops caring in the way she used to. She stops overextending. She stops prioritizing someone who does not prioritize her. She does not become heartless. She becomes selective. She does not become cold. She becomes calm. There is a difference. When you are calm, you are no longer predictable in your pursuit. You are no longer reactive to emotional withdrawal. You are no longer panicking when messages slow down. You notice. And then you adjust. That adjustment is quiet, but it changes everything. Chasing lowers your position because it communicates fear of loss. Silence communicates confidence and value, and confidence shifts dynamics. Now understand this clearly. The goal is not to make someone afraid of losing you. The goal is to stop being afraid of losing them. When you reach that point, your energy changes. You are no longer negotiating for love, you are evaluating compatibility, and people feel that difference immediately. Some will step up, others will retreat. Both reactions are information. When you are not fed up yet, you tolerate disrespect because you are afraid of being alone. When you are fed up, you would rather be alone than emotionally drained. That is not weakness. That is maturity. The moment you stop explaining your boundaries is the moment people realize they no longer have unlimited access to you. And access is power. Before, you were always available, always responsive, always emotionally present. That availability felt safe to them, even if they did not fully value it. But when you withdraw that access, the comfort shifts. You are no longer predictable. You are no longer chasing. You are observing. A fed-up empath does not argue. She withdraws. And that withdrawal is not dramatic. It is disciplined. You stop sending paragraphs. You stop initiating. You stop rescuing conversations. You stop filling silence. You let silence speak. And silence reveals more than confrontation ever could. If they truly care, your absence will move them. If they were comfortable with imbalance, your absence will expose that. Either way, you gain clarity. In the next part, we are going to go deeper into what happens in their mind when you stop reaching out, why your silence starts to echo louder than your love did, and how to handle the urge to break no contact when your emotions surge. But for now, sit with this truth. You are not dangerous because you are cruel. You are dangerous because you are done tolerating what drains you. And once that switch flips, you will never relate the same way again. When you step back, something very quiet but very powerful begins to happen inside you. At first, it feels like loss. It feels like you are giving up control. It feels like you are letting them drift away. But stepping back is not surrender. It is self-respect in motion. The psychology of stepping back is simple, but not easy. When you constantly reach out, explain yourself, defend yourself, and try to fix the distance, you are sending one clear message. I am more afraid of losing you than I am committed to keeping myself. And people feel that. They may not say it out loud, but they feel it. Human beings are wired to value what feels scarce and stable at the same time. When you are always available, always responding instantly, always adjusting your boundaries to keep them comfortable, you remove both mystery and consequence. You become predictable in the wrong way. Not stable, not grounded, just predictable in your fear of losing them. When you step back, you interrupt that pattern, and interruption creates awareness. Suddenly, they do not wake up to your message. Suddenly, there is no emotional reassurance waiting for them. Suddenly, they feel the absence of your energy, and absence creates clarity. You do not chase what is meant for you. Read that again slowly in your mind. You do not chase what is meant for you. When you stop reaching out, their mind begins to fill in the silence. If they were comfortable before, they now feel uncertainty. If they were taking you for granted, they now feel the shift. If they assumed you would always be there, they now question that assumption. Silence forces reflection. Constant contact prevents it. When you chase, you give them relief from consequences. When you step back, you give them space to feel the consequences of their behavior. This is not manipulation. It is emotional maturity. If someone pulls away and you immediately run after them, you teach them that distance is rewarded with attention. But when you stay calm and grounded, you teach them that connection requires effort from both sides. And here is what changes in their mind when you stop reaching out. First, curiosity increases. Humans are naturally curious about changes in behavior. If you always responded within minutes and now you respond hours later or not at all, their brain registers a shift. The mind begins asking questions. Why is she quiet? Is she okay? Is she moving on? Did I go too far? Second, perceived value rises. Scarcity increases perceived value. When your attention is no longer guaranteed, it becomes more valuable. When your emotional support is no longer automatic, it becomes noticeable. Third, responsibility returns to them. When you chase, you carry the emotional labor of the relationship. When you step back, the responsibility moves back where it belongs. They now have to decide, do I reach out? Do I make effort? Do I care enough to bridge this distance? Your silence does not scream, it whispers. But that whisper echoes loudly in someone who is used to you filling the space. Now let's talk about the part that hurts: the urge to text, the urge to call, the urge to just check in, the urge to explain one more time so they understand you. That urge can feel overwhelming. It can feel like anxiety sitting in your chest. It can feel like your fingers moving toward your phone before your mind catches up. You must understand something very important. The urge is not love. The urge is fear. It is fear of losing connection, fear of being forgotten, fear of being replaced, fear of not being chosen. When you recognize that, you take your power back. The next time you feel the urge to text, pause for 90 seconds. Not forever, just 90 seconds. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Ask yourself one honest question. If I send this message, am I seeking connection or am I seeking relief from anxiety? Most of the time you are seeking relief. And relief that comes from casing is temporary. It feels good for a moment, but it lowers your position long term. You do not chase what is meant for you. Instead of acting on the urge, redirect the energy physically. Stand up, move your body, walk outside. Do 10 push-ups. Wash your face with cold water. Movement breaks emotional spirals. Your nervous system needs regulation, not reaction. Another practical step is to write the message you want to send, but do not send it. Open your notes app. Write everything. Be honest. Be emotional. Then close it. Wait 24 hours. If after 24 hours the message still reflects your self-respect, then reconsider. But most of the time, after a night of calm, you will see that it was written from fear, not clarity. You must also remove triggers. If you keep checking their social media, you are reopening the wound every day. If you keep rereading old messages, you are feeding nostalgia instead of reality. Protect your mind. Silence online as well, not to punish them. To protect yourself. Now, what should you focus on daily instead of chasing? You focus on becoming steady. Every morning ask yourself, what kind of woman do I want to be today? Not for them. For you, do you want to be anxious and reactive or calm and centered? Build a routine that supports your strength. Wake up and move your body. Eat properly. Hydrate. Journal for 10 minutes. Write down 3 things you are grateful for, not because gratitude solves heartbreak, but because it stabilizes perspective. When you chase someone, your world becomes small. It shrinks to one person, one conversation, one outcome. But when you focus on your growth, your world expands again. Call a friend who respects you. Read something that challenges your thinking. Work on a skill. Improve your financial independence. Organize your space. When your environment is in order, your mind follows. This is not distraction. This is reconstruction. You are rebuilding your center of gravity. Instead of orbiting around them, you return to yourself, and something powerful happens when you consistently choose yourself. Your energy changes. It becomes less desperate, more grounded. Less reactive, more selective. You start speaking slower. You start thinking before responding. You start noticing red flags instead of explaining them away. That shift is visible, even through silence. When you stop reaching out, they feel the difference. But more importantly, you feel it. You feel the dignity of restraint. You feel the pride of not sending that late night message. You feel the strength of not begging for clarity from someone who is unclear about you. You do not chase what is meant for you. Let that line settle into your bones. If they truly value you, your stepping back will not push them away. It will wake them up, and if stepping back causes them to disappear, then your silence revealed a truth you needed to see. This is where many people make a mistake. They think silence is a game. They think no contact is a strategy to force someone to miss them. But the real purpose is not to control their reaction. It is to restore your position. Chasing lowers your position because it signals imbalance. It signals that you are willing to accept less just to avoid loss. But when you step back, you say without words, I am not here to convince you of my value. And that sentence alone changes everything. There is also a deeper psychological layer. When someone senses that you are emotionally dependent on their response, they unconsciously feel pressure. Pressure creates resistance. Resistance creates distance, and distance makes you chase more. It becomes a cycle. Stepping back removes pressure, and when pressure is removed, clarity appears. Sometimes they will step forward. Sometimes they will not. But either way, you regain your self-respect. Handling the urge is not about suppressing emotion. It is about sitting with it without acting on it. Feel the loneliness. Feel the disappointment. Feel the anger. Emotions are temporary waves. They rise. They peak. They fall. If you do not react impulsively, they pass. But every time you react, you restart the wave. This is emotional discipline, not coldness, not indifference. Discipline. Instead of asking, why haven't they texted? Ask, why am I willing to wait for crumbs? Instead of asking, what did I do wrong? Ask, why do I accept inconsistency? Daily focus also means strengthening your boundaries internally. Remind yourself of your standards. Write them down if you have to. I deserve consistency. I deserve honesty. I deserve effort. I deserve peace. Read those words every day until they stop feeling like wishes and start feeling like requirements. And here is something else that changes when you stop reaching out. They begin to see you as separate, not merged, not dependent, separate. Attraction grows in space, not in pressure. When there is constant contact, constant emotional intensity, the dynamic becomes heavy. But when you allow space, there is room for appreciation, room for longing, room for thought. If they are capable of depth, they will use that space wisely. If they are not, they will drift. And drifting is information. You do not chase what is meant for you. Say it again quietly to yourself. Your job right now is not to convince someone to choose you. Your job is to remain the kind of woman who does not abandon herself. That means going to bed without sending that extra message. That means waking up and choosing discipline over impulse. That means focusing on your health, your work, your friendships, your growth. And over time, something inside you settles. The anxiety reduces. The urgency fades. You realize that your life does not collapse because one person is quiet. You realize that you are carrying more emotional weight than necessary. Stepping back is not passive. It is active restraint. It is strength expressed quietly. And as you continue this process, you will start to notice something else. You are not just waiting for them to act. You are observing. You are gathering data. You are seeing who they are without your interference. Because when you stop chasing, people show their true level of interest. And that truth, whatever it is, will set the direction of what comes next. Now let's talk about the moment that tests everything you have built. They come back after the silence, after the distance, after the space you forced yourself to hold. Your phone lights up, your name on their screen again. A message that says, hey, or maybe something softer. I've been thinking about you. Or maybe something heavy. I miss you. This is where most people lose their power. Because silence is strong, but response reveals whether that strength was real. If they come back, the first thing you must do is slow down. Not because you want to play games. Not because you want revenge. But because pace protects clarity. When someone returns after distance, your nervous system will react. Your heart will jump. Your mind will race. You may feel relief. You may feel validation. You may feel anger and desire at the same time. All of it is normal. But do not let emotion set the pace. You do not chase what is meant for you. If they come back, let them walk toward you. Do not run halfway. This means you respond calmly, not instantly. You keep your tone grounded. You do not interrogate them. You do not pour out everything you felt. You do not reward them with immediate emotional access. You observe. If they truly value you, they will show consistency, not just words. Effort, not just apologies. Change. Boundaries are not speeches. Boundaries are behavior. If they say they miss you, you can say, I appreciate you saying that. And you watch what they do next. Do they suggest meeting? Do they make time? Do they show up when they say they will? Or do they disappear again after a few days of comfort? Pace reveals intention. You must also hold your standards without aggression. If something hurt you before, say it clearly and calmly. When you pulled away without explanation, it didn't sit right with me. No accusation. No drama, just truth. Their response to your truth will tell you everything. A person who is serious will lean in and take responsibility. A person who only missed the convenience of you will become defensive or vague. Do not negotiate your standards to keep someone who left. You do not chase what is meant for you. If they return, the dynamic must be different. You are not picking up where you left off. You are starting fresh, with clear boundaries. You are not available at the same intensity immediately. Trust is rebuilt slowly. That means you continue your routine. You continue your growth. You do not cancel your life to accommodate their reappearance. You make space for them, not your entire world. If they want you, they will rise to meet your level. Now let's talk about the other possibility. They do not come back. No message, no apology, no explanation, just silence. This is where dignity matters most, because your mind will try to create stories. Maybe they are busy. Maybe they are scared. Maybe if I just reach out one more time. But remember what we said earlier. Silence forces reflection, and silence reveals truth. If they do not come back, their silence is an answer, not because you are unworthy, not because you failed, but because their capacity does not match your depth. You do not chase what is meant for you. Closure does not always come from a conversation. Sometimes closure comes from observation, from accepting what is instead of fighting for what should be. If they do not return, you allow yourself to grieve. You do not pretend you are unaffected. You do not harden your heart. You feel the loss. You sit with it. You let the sadness move through you instead of around you. But you do not beg for explanation. Dignity means you let people leave who choose to leave. There is strength in saying nothing. You move forward by redirecting your energy fully back to yourself. Not halfway, not with one eye on your phone. Fully. You deepen your routines. You expand your circle. You invest in your future. You refine your standards. You reflect on what you ignored before. Not to blame yourself, but to learn. You ask better questions now. Does this person show consistency? Do they communicate directly? Do they respect my time? Do they align with my values? You stop romanticizing potential. You start honoring patterns. And here's the most important truth of all. Silence reveals truth either way. If they come back and step up, silence revealed their fear of losing you. If they come back and repeat the same behavior, silence revealed their lack of growth. If they never come back, silence revealed their lack of investment. In every scenario, silence gave you information. Chasing would have delayed that information. It would have blurred it. It would have softened it with excuses. But stepping back allowed reality to show itself. You do not chase what is meant for you. Let that line anchor you again. Your power was never in controlling their response. Your power was in controlling your reaction. If they return, you respond with boundaries, pace, and standards. You require consistency. You protect your time. You stay grounded. If they do not return, you respond with closure, dignity, and forward movement. You release without drama. You grow without bitterness. You trust that what aligns with you will not require begging. This is emotional maturity. This is self-respect. Let me summarize this for you clearly and quickly. When someone pulls away, you step back, not to manipulate, but to restore balance. When the urge to chase rises, you pause, breathe, and redirect. You choose discipline over impulse. When you stop reaching out, their mind fills the space. Curiosity rises. Responsibility shifts. If they come back, you slow the pace, hold your standards, and watch actions over words. If they do not come back, you accept the silence as clarity and move forward with dignity. In every outcome, you win because you kept yourself. Now here is one clear action step. For the next 30 days, no chasing, no emotional over-explaining, no double texting, no checking their social media. Instead, every time you feel the urge, you invest that energy into one thing that strengthens you, one workout, one journal entry, one skill, one conversation with someone who values you. 30 days of choosing yourself. You will not recognize the version of you that emerges from that discipline, because the woman who does not chase is calm, she is steady, she is observant, she is powerful without noise. And when you embody that energy, relationships change, not because you demand it loudly, but because you no longer tolerate less quietly. You do not chase what is meant for you. Say it one last time in your mind. You do not chase what is meant for you. Whether they return or not, your silence will have revealed the truth. And truth, even when it hurts, is freedom. Stand in that freedom. Stand in that dignity. Stand in that calm power that does not beg, does not plead, does not shrink. You are not here to convince someone to see your value. You are here to live it. And if this message resonated with you, watch the next video where we go deeper into how to rebuild your standards so you never settle for inconsistency again.